Okay, hey, it's Greg Picone here with Ideal Capital Investments. Welcome to another Answering the Whys on Wednesdays, where we give you a quick concept that could help you and your business. Today I'm talking about beginning with the end in mind. That's actually a chapter in one of the 7 habits in Stephen Covey's The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, which if you have not read that, I suggest that you do. Why is beginning with the end in mind important? Well, it's important for a lot of different reasons, but one of the reasons I want to highlight today is because when you're entering into agreements, particularly with agreements, if you begin with the end in mind, it allows you to see possible outcomes, both good and maybe more importantly, bad outcomes. And what that allows you to do is have options. And that's the center of what I want to share with you today, is that it is critically important to have options, especially in agreements in business. Case in point, what we do with Ideal Capital Investments is buy apartment properties. And so one of the things that's part of that business is we're hiring management companies. Obviously that's a very integral and important piece of what we do because they're overseeing the day-to-day operations of that asset. Really, it's a business. They're operating that business to a large degree for us. And to give you an example, I just had to fire my management company on my personal rental units here in Denver. And the reaction from that property manager was, it's going to be 60 days, and I'm not going to release you because per our agreement it's been 60 days. Well, going into our agreement a few years back, I had the end in mind and foresaw the possibility of a negative outcome and us having to part ways in a negative way. And so what I did was I changed our agreement and negotiated at that time to leave myself more options and limited it to a 30-day termination period, maximum. So I reminded her that it was a 30-day period, and she unwillingly had to agree with that because we agreed to it in writing. So here's another key point is you negotiate those things. It's like insurance. You can only get insurance before you need it. You can only buy insurance before it's necessary. You negotiate these things up front, and the way to do that, the way to see those things and build in flexibility is by having an end in mind at the beginning. So keeping the end in mind before you're starting an agreement is critically important to leave yourself open with options. So my question to you today is, are there agreements or relationships where you need to think about where it's going to go, potentially good and bad, so that you can structure your agreement and your obligations so that you leave yourself as many options as possible? Thanks again for joining us this week. We'll see you next week on Answering the Whys with Ideal Capital Investments.